Paradox back with more tech support. Today we're going over the idle air control valve and throttles and tapping. So specifically how you're going to get a no vacuum leak seal on any of your intake swaps, because I'm going to give you guys the breakdown as fast as I can here. So what we got going on here is this is a Mustang throttle. On your intake manifold, there's a trapezoidal pass that it goes to the idle air control valve that doesn't allow the ability for aftermarket throttles, because when it goes through that, it makes a different pattern than something that's very simple like a circle. So when you have the Mustang throttle and it's making this bypass that goes over this is the reason why you can't put a GT throttle on your V6 Mustang, and it's because that bypass isn't there. It goes through in the tunnel before the throttle. So with the Mustang throttles, they're really kind of obsolete in every way. It does kind of work okay for the idle air control, but then we have so many problems with idle air control valves. So a lot of people put restrictors on them, which is another purpose for these things, because you can put them as big or small as you would like them. This would be a 1/2 inch pipe. This would be 3/8 inch NPT threads, to 3/8 hose barb, and another 3/8 hose barb. So what I'm going to do for you guys today is I'm going to show you the big differences. So this is a freestar throttle, but this is done, and I have this for another project I have going on, and that is an end result. So what I've done is I've used a grinder, as you would see at that line right there, and I have literally surgically with a grinder made a perfect cut to cut that off. And what happens is if you look down that barrel, that it's just a square up at a certain point to the circle that meets right there. So you have a perfect tappable point. It will look just like that after you cut it straight. There will be a perfect, I don't think I can get them out of there right now. I wrenched them in. But yeah, so there'll be a perfect hole for you to take a tap and put into. And these would be a 3/8 NPT tap. So when you do that, it makes a no leak vacuum seal, and you don't have to worry about any of the filling that and trying to put plates over it and what you think you're going to do. This is actually a real legit plumb. Like when you're going to plumb that, there's not going to be any vacuum leaks. You can either pipe thread that or tape that, or you can JB Weld original epoxy that, the actual steel reinforced good stuff. So when you have a throttle that looks like that, then you're able to not use. So with the Mustang, you're unfortunately also stuck with a trapezoidal ports for your idle air control valve. So with this is going to be from I believe a 2001 to 2003 Windstar are the ones with the little knob on them. And I got these from a few different years around here even. And the thing is that if you switch over to these, it's once again 3/8 tappable. So you can stick a 3/8 tap right in that and tap that guy. So now you're going to have a completely no leak vacuum seal. And when they're having you tap the intake for the Windstar, I don't know why they're not telling you to tap this too, because having you tap intake manifold is going to cost somebody a lot of money, where this is just a sensor. So somebody could even learn on something like this, and or even just get a pocket full of them at the junkyard for free, and a 3/8 NPT tap for these ones. The intake manifold is a 1/2 inch, but you can put, when you're drilling in there, a 3/8 hole and tap it into the plastic Windstar. So with these, you're able to basically bypass your throttle. So that's what these are doing. These are the last stop where, when your air is coming in, when your throttle's closed, to allow engine air to let the engine run and maintain performance, so that even though your throttle plate's closed, you're still getting the correct amount of air through this sensor. So by the modification we're about to do, you're taking the idle air control valve off of the top of your intake manifold, and you're remote placing this. You're bringing this to wherever you want it, or mount it down. And the cool thing about that is then you're allowed to have hood clearance, and these things stick up a good 4 inches above the 3.5, 4 inches above the top of the intake manifold. So if you need fitment issues with your hood, that's where you're going to get it. So I'm going to get you guys through a tapping issue real quick. And this is what we do. I've done the same thing right here, you know, to cut that off. And it's going to expose that. No vacuum leaks, ever. So here it is to an idle air control valve. So what's happened is I've had my idle air control valve go out on me. And of course this is a Ford problem, it happens regularly. And so what we're going to do is actually just put some threads in this guy. Just like that. So that one has no threads, came from the factory, just like it comes off the manifold. And the thing about these is that they're all different. It's usually manifold on one side and the throttle plate on the other side. And you're going to have to look at what idle air control valve you get and see, because they have these on Thunderbirds, 4.6s. They have these on almost every Ford you look at. This is usually the, you know, a 96 to roughly 2000. You know, these are going to be the idle air control valve you're looking at. So I'm going to get you through tapping one of these guys, and you can just be able to do these for yourself. So what we're going to need to do this is, of course, the 3/8 NPT tap, and it's going to go right in there. Like, you literally can set it right in there. The taper sits real nice, goes right on there, and you know, this is what I call a pilot spindle, and this is something that you use when you're tapping to kind of aim the downward force into it and keep it centered. A lot of people don't even know that this exists, so you kind of get through tapping without it. But so I've already kind of pre-chamfered this, which means that I've used this and rotated it back for 6-7 times to get it real nice and flush. But she's just going to go down perfect. They usually do. And you just, I have went both ways with this, where I will center it all the way to the bottom like I'm doing right now. And I've had times where I'll go down 3 spins and spin it back a thread or 2. And when I've been doing it on the expensive things, I've been really just sending her straight to the bottom, or at least half to 2/3 of the way, about right here. And then now that that has made half a screw hole, I will kind of give her a left, right. If this didn't have a sensor in it, I would usually hit it with oil right here, and I will usually give her a full 180 minimum, back and forth. And what that's doing is really cleaning up them threads real nice, so that when you put the plug or the 3/8 NPT tap to whatever size hose barb you're looking to get, real nice. I have to say we're getting pretty close for threads. So people are really scared of this, and in all reality, as long as I blow out this thing with compressed air, she's fine. See, it's already threaded like that. That quick. I won't say that she's permanent, but before I completely do a good clean out, right at the top, always make sure that these threads are real good, because that's the only time you're ever going to have a problem, is when you start putting it in at the first few threads. If it tries to cross thread, it's hard to feel. So I'll take that out. Just like that. That's what you have a problem with. Just go bang. Right in. So that's going to be how you do both of them. Just like that. Hope my arm wasn't in the way the whole video. Just like that, you lay some threads. So what you do is you hit that out really, really good with some compressed air, and then you don't push the compressed air in there. Like, don't damage the sensor. Kind of constantly spray it from right around, you know, the edge here. So you're going to do that one to that. You're going to do that one to that. And you're going to have no vacuum leaks ever again with any one of your intake swaps. It literally takes 2 to 3 minutes to do that. So once you epoxy or thread tape these, they are completely sealed up to hundreds and hundreds of psi. They'll have no problems with boost or anything like that, and you'll never have another vacuum leak problem again through your idle air control valve. So I'm glad I could make this video for you guys. I'm going to make another one for the intake manifold as well, because it's a little bit more difficult, because you can't just have it in your hand and put it wherever you want. So I'm glad I could show you how to do an idle air control valve. Good luck with your swaps. Paradox back with more text for it.